Well, first of all, thanks for joining us on a short notice. We had several inquiries about the situation with COVID inside the Monroe County Jail. I thought it would be best just to brief everybody at one time of the situation and the mitigating circumstances that we're putting ourselves forward with and answer any questions the public has. My goal is to be brutally honest with the public and be brutally honest with my staff, what's occurring and what our plan of action is. Obviously, the situation has been changing every day across America with the spike in COVID. This has been a nonstop process since, March, and it's been an ebb and flow. We've been very lucky in the Monroe County Jail due to a superb effort by our jail staff, but then some of that was luck. We figured it sooner or later we'd get inside the Monroe County Jail, and we shared that with the public last week that we actually had some positive cases. On Saturday, I noticed the positive cases continued to grow. They weren't growing exponentially, but they were continuing to stack on top of each other. So I called a staff meeting with my staff on Saturday morning, and I called the CEO of Prime Care, our health care provider inside the Monroe County Jail. And we sat on the phone for about 2 hours on Saturday. And my challenge to them was, we cannot accept status quo. We cannot accept reactive. We cannot accept anything but proactive, and let's take this on. Monday, we did a proactive spot check of 2 additional housing areas inside the Monroe County Jail, and we found more positive inmates. I then called another staff meeting. I then challenged my staff that this is a war. We are going to be proactive, leaning forward. No stone left unturned. Money's not an issue. Let's see what we can do to mitigate the spread of this virus inside the Monroe County Jail. The environment surrounding this virus has continuously changed, and that's what we need to do. The jail staff found the capacity through their relationships to test 100% of the inmate population inside the Monroe County Jail. They also found the manpower to make this happen. This unprecedented step that we're beginning today to test every inmate inside the jail is the decision that I made to get what we call situational awareness. In the world, we make decisions based on what ifs and I knows. What if is information we're not too sure. I know is facts that we can make better decisions on. 100% testing will give the Monroe County Sheriff the full situational awareness of what's occurring inside the jail. Now, we realize, with studies going on across America, that when you test a population, you're going to find a higher rate of infection. That's information you may not want to see. I understand that. But my goal is to be brutally honest with the public and be brutally honest with our staff, what's actually occurring inside that jail. So as those numbers come in, we will share those numbers with the public and we'll share those numbers with our staff. We may not like the numbers, but that'll be the fact that's occurring. And with those facts, then we can then make our mitigating circumstances that much more effective. Instead of dealing with a bunch of what ifs, we'll deal with the I know information we have in front of us. Any inmate tested positive will go on 21-day quarantine, and all positive inmates will be quarantined together. What this allows us to do is actually open up a bit of the restrictions on the inmates because they'll be housed with other positive inmates. So we don't have to worry about cross-contamination. Presumptive positive inmates, those are the ones we assume are positive or had close contact with another positive inmate, will be housed together and will not be released from the housing unit until they receive 2 negative tests within a 14-day period. And then, of course, we'll have COVID-negative inmates, and they'll be housed together, but with continuous testing and protocols placed to keep the exposure at a minimum. Inmates with underlying health conditions are seen today 2 times a day by at least 1 nurse, or by 2 nurses. So to reiterate, any inmate that's inside the Monroe County Jail with underlying health conditions is seen at least 2 times a day by medical staff. Prime Care, the CEO of Prime Care flew into Rochester today to help us develop this plan. In addition to that, Prime Care is sending additional resources from outside of New York State to the Monroe County Jail to help us in the testing protocols and procedures. All our staff from here forward will be tested upon their return to work. That means on their 2 days off, when they come back to work, they will be tested as they come into the Monroe County Jail. That's in addition to the normal protocols we do with asking questions and taking temperature checks. That'll be a rapid test and hopefully give us information as fast as possible should a staff member bring the COVID virus into the jail. When I say staff, we're not only talking about sworn deputies. When I say staff, we're also talking about all the contractors that come inside the Monroe County Jail. Healthcare providers, mental health providers, medical, anybody that comes inside the Monroe County Jail will be tested when they return to work, including food prep. For inmates, we understand this is a burden upon the inmates population. We understand that they will be quarantined and at times locked down until we can actually define where they sit in this process, whether they're positive, assumed positive, or negative. That's the only step we can take to mitigate the spread of this virus until we get a true sense of what's going on inside the jail. So with that being said, we realize that burden on them and also on our staff. So we are providing 2 15-minute phone calls at no charge to the inmate. In addition to that, we're providing a 30-minute video conference to the inmate once a week so they can be in touch with their loved ones outside the jail. Folks, this is an unprecedented time that we're living in America. This is an unprecedented time for the Monroe County Jail. Situational awareness is going to allow us to do our job better, make better decisions. I've challenged my staff to lean forward, be aggressive, cordon this problem off, and then let's go at it and attack it and get it out of our jail. That is our goal. My goal is to be brutally honest with you. I think we've always done that. To be brutally honest with the staff and to tell the public what's exactly occurring inside there. We are going to be proactive in our handling of this. We are open to any questions. We're open to any suggestions. We're open to any ideas, as my staff has been challenged many, many times in the last 48 hours to continue to lean forward on this problem. At that time, I'll just open up the questions. I know Amy Young prepared a media release that has a lot more detail of the action steps we're taking. But if you have any particular questions, I'd be glad to answer those. Yes, sir.
Can you give us an update on numbers of positive cases of inmates?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So after yesterday's testing of the additional units, we have 70 positive inmates inside the Monroe County Jail.
So you said 70 positive inmates. How about positive jail deputies or other jail personnel?
I'll get you that. We do have that number, Will. I just don't have that in front of me. And
With all of this going on, are there any plans? I mean, I know that a lot of court proceedings have slowed down, but are there any plans that we could potentially speed up some of these misdemeanor court proceedings in order to thin the jail population?
yeah, you know, that would be a great thing right now, but as COVID's spreading back through our environment, throughout the whole community, the court proceedings are actually slowing down on us. As an example, we have several inmates inside the Monroe County Jail that are what we call state ready. Their courts proceedings are over with. They've been sentenced to New York State prison, yet we're holding them because the state refuses to take them. So, you know, our population inside the jail is plateaued at about 710 people inside the jail. It fluctuates a few every day. But with that being said, we are always working with the Public Defender's Office. We're working with the courts. Anybody that they want to see, you know, here's an example. A lot of people believe the Monroe County Sheriff can release people from the jail. The Monroe County Sheriff doesn't have that authority. No sheriff does. We house based on a court order. A judge puts them in a jail. But we always work with them. We work with the public defender. If there's someone inside that jail that they want health care information on, if there's someone inside that jail that they want other records so they can maybe get them out of the jail through the court process, we support that 100%. You know, obviously you take all the considerations of public safety and things like that, but that's up to the court. But we support those processes. We're doing it as we speak.
Sheriff, if a new inmate comes into the jail, is that inmate tested and are they quarantined?
So the former protocol that we've done since March, we were one of the first jails to do this across New York State, is we did a 14-day quarantine. Any new inmate coming inside Monroe County Jail was isolated for 14 days and then sent to general population depending on where they're going to be housed. That still occurs today. The 14-day rule is a good rule, except now they'll be tested before they move out also. But we always relied on that 14-day window that our medical professionals told us was a good window to make sure people are safe and secure.
When I spoke with the girlfriend of an inmate who says that her boyfriend has some symptoms, has not been tested yet, but that he spends 23 hours a day in his cell. Does that happen?
Yeah, so there's our isolation period. So anybody inside the Monroe County Jail that is in close contact, symptomatic, or a positive, we're quarantining them right now until we can get a full grasp on this. Thus the testing that we're going to go. This is unprecedented stuff that we're taking. Let's test everybody inside the Monroe County, and then we can put everybody in those categories, right? And then if someone is positive, they can be with other positive inmates, locked into a housing area, but not locked into a cell all that time. But yeah, we're isolating everybody for the obvious reasons. We cannot afford more cross-contamination of this virus inside the jail with hundreds of moving parts in there. So we've isolated as many people as we can.
At a time when these inmates are being isolated, can there be more that your department or Monroe County could do to alleviate some of this isolation? You know, in terms of, you know, you said you're going to give them 2 15-minute free phone calls, and then I think you said it was a 30-minute
video. Yep.
Is there anything that could be done more? I mean, the phone calls are already expensive as is. Is there something that could be be done more? Have you explored, making phone calls free for a certain period of time while this is going on, or anything
Yeah,
like that?
so just that, if you look at the contract that we have for the phone system inside the Monroe County Jail, those 15 minutes and that video conference are outside the contract, and we're willing to break that right now. Actually, we're working with legislators, Monroe County legislators, to see how we can adjust that contract. Well, we have to go through a contract adjustment process on that, but literally as we speak right now, we're probably breaking that contract, and we're paying that bill to get those phone calls out.
How long does the contract go?
I think it's for a few years. So it wouldn't be a break of the contract, it would be an adjustment to the contract. But that's in the press release. That information's in there also. We're looking at other things. What can we do as far as meals? Can we provide better meals? We understand this is a burden upon the inmate, but also, as we expressed back earlier this year when we had we had 4, I think, positive cases inside the jail earlier in the year. The inmates are working with us. Most of the inmates are working. They don't want this inside the jail, and they're working hand in hand with the staff. They're helping us to do this sanitation. So this is not an us versus them. But we realize when you're in a jail, it's not a comfortable environment. And then when you're locked into one cell for lots of hours, then what can we do to lower the if you will, the anxiety, right? We understand that. The jail deputies understand that 100%. And anything we can do to lower the anxiety inside that jail helps the jail deputy out too, as they work with the inmate population 24 hours a day. So that's all part of the plan 100%. I challenged my staff the other day, man, if I got to go out and buy McDonald's meals and get them in here because that's something different and unique, I'll go get McDonald's meals and we'll do it once a week. Whatever we can do, we understand that, but we're all in this together. We understand where everybody's at. We all understand different functions in our society right now, but we're all inside that jail together.
Do you know how much a 15-minute phone call does cost?
It normally costs $1.50. And I'm going to get you guys that because that's the second time. Okay, Amy, please. 26 jail deputies are confirmed. Eric, that's if that's the billion-dollar question. If I could answer that, it wouldn't be in any school district in our future. It wouldn't be in an elder folk home. I wish I could answer. It wouldn't be in my church. I don't have that answer. I don't have that answer. We've taken, I think, unprecedented steps to mitigate, but it's around us. It's in every part of our environment. It's on asymptomatic people. So if I knew that, I'd be a billionaire, and we could put an end to this whole thing across America. I don't have that, but that doesn't stop us from evaluating it, right? Constantly seeing where could this possibly come in, what could have stopped. So in addition to the 14-day quarantine for an inmate, 14 days plus the test now. In addition to medical check, screening of all our staff, including civilian staff, and a temperature check. That was what we did before. Those were good protocols. Now we're also going to do a test when they return to work, right? A medical test. So we're always looking for that next thing we can do and push this thing forward. But I'm not trying to be funny. If I knew that answer, we put an end to this whole thing. It's sneaking in every environment in our community. Yeah, listen, my staff was here, a major was here till about 1 o'clock in the morning on, it would be Friday morning, Sunday night, because we challenged them, right? And then the sheriff came in at 9 o'clock on, I didn't come in that late, but I came in at 9 o'clock on Monday, and I pretty much told them that that's not enough. Sorry, that's not enough. We're going forward. Let's go forward. And they all reacted. Right? They all just jumped and did and came up with this plan, an unprecedented plan, and found the resources to do 100% testing. And the reason I'm sharing that is these are incredible people. They're in there 24 hours a day working with the same environment the inmates are in. They're breathing the same air. They're touching the same products. They're in a high-risk situation just like the inmates that are in there, and we realize that. That's what I mean by that. But with that being said, these guys are always adapted. Also, guys and gals have adapted to the point of, we have obviously protocols. If we lose 33% of our tasks, we'll go to 12-hour shifts. If we lose, we have those laid out. We have a clear plan on those. But I'm always amazed at how they just keep on adapting. I just challenged them to look at the Monroe County Sheriff's jail out in Brighton. Look at that facility out there that we closed down because of COVID, brought all the way back down. Quarantine that thing off, and let's see what type of population we can use that to relieve some of the pressure. That's manpower intensive. To open another wing back up, they don't flinch. They just keep on doing. So right now we're doing fine. This testing will take a lot more manpower. When we start segregating into those 3 groups, it's going to take a lot more manpower. Can you imagine moving 30 inmates from here, 25 inmates over there? That's manpower intensive work. But we're good right now. But we're trying to keep an eye on our